So you finished your paintings, now what? One thing as professional artists that you need to think about and dedicate time and effort into is finishing your paintings and having them both ready for drop-off, gallery showing, and for purchasing from your actual collectors. So once my paintings are dry, like in this case, I made 10 original oil paintings, my Indigenous Miami series that's going to be debuting at Aqua during Miami Art Week this week. They need to get to the gallery today. So what I did ahead of time to prepare for them, before when the pieces were dry and before I varnished them, I flipped them over. I sign and date the back. I know some artists have a preference about whether or not they want to sign it or date it. Total personal preference. I use this with a thin permanent marker, which is also controversial. Historically, that has been done with graphite pencil or charcoal. You are more than welcome to do those. They've lasted for centuries. Because I had a thick layer of gesso and acrylic primer as the base on the front, and I put a layer of gesso on the back, I was not worried about it bleeding through. It's a little bit bolder when it's a black permanent Sharpie. I used a very thin one. I would recommend a thick one, not only because you don't have as much control, but it's more likely to bleed through. That's one thing to think about as a pro tip. I also use my own stamp that I had created that has my likeness and my website. I stamp it both for a personal touch and for authenticity. And then I like to write in the title of the piece. While it will be on the gallery label on the wall, sometimes when things get moved or passed on, or if a collector wants to share this forever, you might lose track of what the painting was called, when it was made, who the artist is. So I put all of that on the back. I also screw in hanging hardware. So I used a sawtooth hanger in this case. Sometimes for bigger pieces, I will use a hanging wire. Some galleries or shows, for consistency's sake and based on how they have it set up for display, they might be pretty strict about what they want featured. So make sure you confirm with whoever you're showing with what that might look like or what they prefer to see. In this case, it's really lightweight, it's simple. All a collector will need is a simple nail. They'll be ready to hang it. So I did try to make it as accessible and easy as possible. Once the hardware is screwed in, everything on the back is set. I varnished the paintings. I didn't capture a video of that, but I use a conservation varnish gloss spray that is made particularly for oil paintings that aren't completely cured. Sometimes it can take weeks to fully set or even months depending on how thick your oil painting is. But I make sure to spray that lightly and let that dry. What's great about that is it still lets the oil paint within underneath that layer set, but it protects it from UV, creates an even gloss shine. So that's my preference. I'll include a link to what particular spray that I use. Once that varnish is completely dry, then I pack them in parchment paper to get them ready for packaging. I do not recommend to use saran wrap, especially if it's not 100% dry or oil, because it captures moisture and it can also stick to oil painting. So do not use saran wrap. I have made that experience from that personal mistake myself. I use parchment paper or freezer paper, glossy side down. I wrap each of these, and then I also prepared some white boxes that I'm using for both what will be packaged in when they actually sell, but it's also an easy way to transport it to the gallery, which I dropped off today. So what I did was I wrapped it in parchment paper. I put it in these boxes that I pre-made. I put tissue paper in them. I have water slide and sticker decals on them. So I have my stamp on the inside cover. I have the water slide Miami decals on the back of the box. And on the top of the box, I have a sticker that I made where it's just glossy, fun finish. And it just shows one of my artworks, more of my information, a QR code to my link tree so that there's no doubt where this came from or who the artist is. I include a business card. I wrap it in the parchment paper, wrap it in tissue paper, and then I put another fun, shiny, or different kind of tissue paper on top of that. Put it all in the box, and then it will go in my brown paper bags with additional tissue paper to add a little bit of an element of branding. It's something that people want to carry around. Because this is a smaller art show, I wanted to keep the bag small, easier to use. That's really going to come in handy because people don't want to carry around a big box. So some of the bigger paintings, if you don't offer delivery at shows, you need to think about and hope for, if your piece sells, do people want to walk around with it? Is it easy to carry? Is it easy to transport? In this case, these little brown paper bags can fit over your wrist, your handle. They're very lightweight. This is an easy way. Granted, these are only 6x6 pieces, so they will be easier. But that's how I wrap it for the gallery show. I'm dropping off the paintings today, so I prepared all 10 paintings the same way. They each have their own individual boxes. I've included a bag with additional tissue paper to help stuff it, extra business cards in case collectors want to just learn more about my piece when they're going to the gallery show. I also included some bigger bags, so what you can hope and pray for is that a collector wants more than one piece, especially if they're a continuous series like this one is. I have 10 pieces in this collection. So if they want more than one, they want to make a wall over it, if they want a series from it, they might not want to carry a bunch of individual bags. So in the best case scenario that somebody buys more than one, I will have larger bags that I also have branded. The final thing that I'll add is the branding on my bags are original lino cut prints that I made. So I carved out my logo and my turtle logo and my at Cassandra Clark art. I did that in reverse as a rubber stamp, essentially with relief cut printing. I have plenty of videos on how to do that if you want to see how to do that as well. I use those as an individual, very handmade touch stamp. Of course, you can get stamps made or laser cut. You can mass produce your own bags. I spend way too much time in the very, very manual handmade approach because I really wanted to feel as authentically me as possible. I love the arts and crafts side of it as much as I do creating the paintings. I love printmaking as well. So for me, I made prints that are actually essentially stamped onto these bags, but do what your preference is. If you have any questions, hopefully this was at least an idea to get you thinking about what do I do when my paintings are complete. Drop me a comment if you have additional questions or if there are additional videos that you'd like to see about how to be a professional artist. Have a good one, everybody. See ya.